My name's Daphne Naden. I'm a Community Capacity Development Officer with the Far North Queensland Rural Division of General Practice. Their organisation is based in Cairns and I'm actually based in Cooktown and work with Indigenous communities around Cooktown and around Weipa, Cape York. The impacts of racism and the impacts of, and just recognising the extent of poverty out in remote Indigenous communities, is largely ignored, I think, So, as working at the coalface, you see the actual impacts on health, where people don't have the money to access dental services, for instance, which is very important. And while there's a lot of services now going out to communities, there's still not that uptake. And largely I think it's because through racism and just misunderstandings sometimes that services tend to want to be the saviour and want to fix all the problems when the problems can really be fixed by the people and the services working together rather than working at each other. It doesn't matter what service you get out there unless people recognise that there are differing values, that their lifestyles don't assume that they're the same as general Australia, They live differently, our people have different values and that are important to them. Take those into mind when you're delivering a service, and treat the people as people, have some empathy, understand what historical repressive policies and that have had on our mob, and start, don't work in the field if you don't want to. If you don't have empathy, don't work in the field, don't go out there. It's not about, you and your money. Where our people are dying out there, get some decent help out there, don't go into a service in remote communities if you don't want to be amongst the people and don't like the way they live, It's hard yards for people that want to go out there and work, You don't have access to all the services, you don't have access to gyms and things like that you do in the urban situation, but, it's a life that people live out there. You want to go out, treat the people as people, they're human beings, And I think the racism that we see and the systemic racism especially, is something that people don't talk about in this country, people don't address it, Unless we start addressing those things and understanding why our people live the way we do, we'll never make any decent changes on the ground. We always hear as Indigenous people, we're forever hearing, that's taxpayers' money. Yeah, well, we pay taxes too. But the thing is, have a look at the amount of money that goes in. Where does that money go to? It does not hit the ground. It doesn't go into the pockets of the Indigenous people. It goes into the pockets of bureaucrats and a whole heap of people out there that are working at the people instead of with the people. And they go away, they go home to their comfortable homes. They fly in, fly out, go into their comfortable homes, and live a decent life. And that's where all the money goes. It goes to levels of income that, and our people don't benefit from it. You talk about creating meaningful jobs out there. Our people don't have those meaningful jobs that they could, Some of the jobs that are out there that are going into pockets of people that don't want to be there should be in the pockets of our people, that can do the job, that understand the dynamics of community, that understand the dynamics of our families. That's the kind of people you need working in this area on the ground. Racism is a major problem, and the systemic racism that's in the education department, it's in the state health departments, and in the state police departments. Fix those things, address those things. We have protocols when we go into our Indigenous communities. We respect them as Indigenous people, services that are on the ground to respect them. I mean, why would a service go into a remote community, have a 6-foot fence with locks on? These are the things that happen. And those people come, you know, they go to teach our children, say the education department staff. They live on the communities. Their houses are fenced, 6 foot high, locked. You know, they don't even say hello to the people walking down the street. That's the things that are happening in our communities, you know, up in Cape York, that's where I work. And that's the thing that needs to be addressed, you know. Once, you know, the people, I can go, I'm not even from half the communities, I can walk in. They're safe communities, and yet General Australia thinks they're war zones. They're not war zones at all, you know. And that's, you know, what are we? And another thing that Rudd should address is the media hype on Indigenous people. You know, through that intervention, I've got 4 daughters. I'm a mother of 4 daughters. I'm Yalanji from North Queensland. I teach my girls to respect or to be proud of being Yalanji. Besides being Yalanji, they're an Australian. And more importantly, they're a human being. Treat others like they want to be treated, you know, and get on in this life. But I know my girls face prejudice every single day. We walk down the street, you know, we get looks, you know. There's all these attitudes, and I want them to have a good life. They all